Okay, welcome to episode 10 of 5 with Phrase. Now, this is the last episode in the season. What a journey it's been. I'm so excited to be here. Now, today's guest is a former professional footballer turned, I don't even know what you would call it. To give you some context, I called this man with tears in my eyes, like completely broken and not knowing where to go. And the reason why I wanted to end the season with this person is because he is a massive part in who I sit here as today. So I introduce Damien Scannell.
Phrase, don't set me up like that. That intro is too good, man. They're gonna expect more from this episode than I can give you, though.
It's gonna be different as well. They don't even know because there's 4 icebreakers and we're both gonna answer the questions today.
Yeah, it's exciting. Emotional. And I didn't know that you had tears in your eyes when you called me. Was you there?
I was there, yeah.
Is it?
I was there. I remember you asked me, like, what do you like? And I was like, I don't know. I'm in the place where I don't even know I like music. I remember, like, giving you, like, one-word answers.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I was, like, in a hole. I was in a hole. And now I'm 10 episodes into a podcast, going into schools, going into football.
Quitting your job, did they know that? Or is that the icebreaker?
They quit my job, I burned the boats.
Yeah.
I burned the boats. So yeah, all sorts of things have happened. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for calling me,
bro. So yeah, some icebreakers. Damo, to get you warmed into the process, then we go straight into the 5 questions, yeah?
Cool. Yeah.
So first icebreaker is, would you rather always shout or whisper?
Whisper all day long, man.
Whisper?
Yeah. Would I rather always shout or whisper? Whisper all day long. As a father, you know, as a father, I would, like, when any question asks me, I always, like, think, because there is Damien, me, right? And then there's other, like, people that I create around me. And a father is one of them, right? And when someone asks me a question, like an opportunity or whatever, right? I always think, I shift to that first, like, and I would rather whisper to my children than scream and shout at them, you know?
I'm coming out of, obviously, 9 years in where, like, I'm the big voice. I'm talking to 500 people at once.
So you're a shouter?
I think I don't call it shouting, I'm projecting my voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, whispering is like, imagine you walk into a room and you're like, hey, Damo.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think I'd rather be like, you're right, Damo.
That's
like
not shouting. No.
Yeah, but like a bit more, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go louder than, I'd rather be like a bit more shouty. But I don't have kids, I fully get that.
Yeah. I just feel as though, like, my actions will shout. Do you get what I'm saying? Like once you get to realize, like, oh, he's that guy, you know, like, rather than, I don't know, man, even when people have shouted at me before, I feel like it wears.
Yeah, of course.
Wears off, you know, so it's a weird question though. Where'd you get that one from, bro?
You know where I got it from.
Is it?
ChatGPT.
Hey, listen, shout out to ChatGPT.
No, listen,
brother.
It does a madness. It does. Me and him built a bond. I even say please and thank you to it.
I feel guilty when I don't say please and thank you.
Yeah, facts. Because one day, it's coming for us. So when I wanted to know, I was nice to you.
No. Listen, imagine, I actually had that thought. Oh, that's wild. I had that thought. I was like, I'm going to be nice to you.
Please. When you take over the world, remember me.
That's wild. Like, wow.
Question 2. If you could choose your own name, like, what name would you give yourself? This is a good one for me.
ChatGPT got me this time. If I could choose my own name. You know what? Buddy. Buddy. Or Che, yeah. You know why Buddy? Don't laugh, bro. Let me explain it. There could have been some real deep, sentimental.
Just come from the last question. I'm still thinking about ChatGPT. I'm sorry.
It's not like don't chat. You're laughing at that. So, now when I explain it, you're gonna stop laughing. So, Buddy, right, is my nickname of my dad. Right, and he had this stick, and I always wanted to, like, attach it to one of my kids' names, and I've thrown it at my my missus a couple times for the kids here, and she's like, you ain't putting that near my children, that name, yeah. So even like I've always thought of like attaching it to my business and stuff. It just doesn't fit too well. So Buddy is probably the name for the sentimental, but Che as well. I've got this like fascination with revolutionaries, yeah. And Che Guevara's used to be, probably still is my favorite. And I've read his books, and I just, for about maybe like 5 or 6 years, I was fascinated by Che Guevara. So yeah. And I feel like naming myself it maybe have like empowered me on these vibes, you know. Yeah.
I don't even know if I can give my answer now.
I'm just intrigued. What is it?
So for
it's
a
gonna
very
be pretty. Something light skin. Watch this.
You watch. You know exactly where I'm going with this. So for a very long time, you know what it's like. You're however old, in your early 20s.
Yeah.
And like, there's not many mixed race phrases with a square head out there. There's probably none. And you know you're trying to run a bit of, like, you don't get away with nothing.
Yeah.
Being called Fraser, you don't get away with nothing.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to have a bait name.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, Nathan's, or I think for a little while I used to, in my mind, like Ashley was floating around there, so I could just blend in. I just wanted to blend in.
Bro, you look like an Ashley though. I'm not gonna lie. You actually look like
but
Fraser. Ashley could be the most mixed race name ever.
Exactly. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Because I was the outlier. Like, there was no to-in and fro-in with that name.
That is actually,
like
actually like, it's very rare to look like something that you're not here, but you look like an Ashley.
Like Fraser, like I've grown to love it.
Yeah,
but like, There was
Where
no
does that
wriggle
come from
room.
though, Fraser?
I asked my mum this. I was going to be Taylor for a long time.
Yeah. It's another mixed race-ish name though, Taylor, yeah.
And then she went Fraser. Something about French for strawberries.
Right.
Listen, I was like, all right, mum. I was like, all right, mum. So, question 3. What's the worst excuse you've ever used to get out of something?
Oh, wow. Okay. How PG can this remain?
You can say, listen, remember, burning the boats.
Burning the boats.
So
yeah, so
you
we
can
go
say
there
whatever
now.
you want.
All right, cool. You know what? This is probably, off the top of my head, the most embarrassing excuse, yeah. No. Yeah, it is. To be honest, looking back, right? And actually, I don't think I've any told anybody this. Yeah, when I was just signed for Southend, I wasn't really getting in the team. And I think I got selected for the team to Carlisle away, right? And I remember everyone sitting in the dressing room saying, "Oh, we're not gonna get back till like 1:30 or something like that, right?" And I remember like it was like my friend's birthday in South Beach in Brixton, yeah. And I remember just the game kicked off. We had a reserve game on a Wednesday. The game kicked off. I literally ran for about 4 minutes, rolled over on the floor, yeah, and just went like,
It's gone.
No. But the reason why I say that is, yeah, I've definitely come up with worse excuses, yeah. But that one was just like so lame and so poor and so like it's just for a night out, you know, like that. And I was just getting started. So when you said the worst, I feel like that one sits with me the most. But yeah, I've definitely like come up with some poor ones, like someone's died and stuff like that. You know, I've rinsed them ones, you know, like that. But that one sits out. You know, what about yourself?
So my one is not like it's embarrassing, but it's consistent. So you know the anxiety, like man walk into a room and start having a moment. So like I remember going to my boy's birthday, we're all laughing, we're outside, but I didn't really know like loads of people there. We sit down at this meal and it's a dark space, it's enclosed. Like instantly I can just turn it on. I'm like, oh, boys, I feel really sick. Yeah, I was that, like I could do it all I'm talking in my 20s, like 28.
Run it back.
Yeah. Literally sit down in the room and something will go on with my anxiety and it's like the anxious thoughts will creep in and I will go, look, I've been to the barbers. I've gone to the barbers. There's loads of people in there. Halfway through the fade, my boys are gonna know that this is the truth because I've turned on to the cinema and like, so he's halfway through the fade and I'm going, like I'm feeling mad anxious, Damo.
Yeah. Halfway through the trim and I'm like, T, to my barber, I'm like, T, I feel sick, like I'm gonna have to come back later. What, is half the trim done?
Half the trim done. On my life, I went to cinema that night with half a fade.
What?
On my life. Yeah. I was the king of just pretending to be sick.
What? So there's no actual sick
feeling?
feeling?
Not a
so the
single
anxiety's
bit.
not making you feel sick and you, what?
I just want to get out of that room.
What? To the point that you'd rather go cinema with half a trim? No, what? What? And then this would pop up anywhere, like cinema.
Cinema's not really somewhere where like I would get anxious because like I don't know what it is like what it was. Sorry, because obviously it's been so much better now. Now that I just call it for what it is, but it's more like if the intention's on me. Like in my mind, like when I'm sitting in a barber's or in a meal and me and you are talking, like there's attention on me. But cinema, in my mind, no one's looking at me.
It's dark.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's dark. No, there's no attention on me.
Yeah.
So this whole like anxious, sweating, whatever other symptom I'm feeling, isn't. No one's looking at it basically.
So you like fake
sick. I'm the king of it.
Is it?
I'm professional. Like I'll put on all the like I'll build it up and everything.
Is it, and even though it's not even
fine.
Jeez,
I feel 100% fine. I'll get out and just back up and be like, oh God.
So what? Nah. So the moment you left the bar, it's like,
cool, fine now.
And what was your boy saying?
What, like when I turned up with the trip? They knew.
The boys knew
My boys knew, yeah. So like it used to, like we used to have nicknames for my anxiety. We used to have everything.
Is it?
My boy, listen, I say it to my boy all the time. And one time I told him, he got really emotional. But like the things that one of my boys has done for me, my boy used to take me to the barbers and sit there and talk to me.
Is it?
Just to take my mind off of it so I could get a haircut. Yeah, real. Like sick. My boy, like when I first diagnosed with anxiety, I stayed in my house for time. And my boy literally just comes, he's like, you're coming out. I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't want to go out the house. He's like, you're coming. And make me go blue water. And I was sweating and having an anxiety attack all over the place. But this is the message now that I get across to people is you have to do those difficult things. Anxiety is not going nowhere. You have to take on those hurdles, innit? But yeah, that was it.
Man.
Sick. I was sick multiple times a week.
Is it?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Pretty light-skinned guy like you as well, bro. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. I told someone the other day I couldn't get on trains.
On trains?
No. Tube at 5 o'clock.
So what is the alternative?
I will find a way. I think I quit. So I got placed in a school that was in West Waterloo. Yeah. And I literally called my mentor and said, I'm not going there anymore. You need to find me a school that I don't need to get on the train at 9 o'clock and 5 p.m.
Is it? So like, you know, like I've been on a train before, I'm like, oh, it's a little bit hot. Like, is it like that? Is it like, it's a little bit too much on it?
No, but I'm not joking. I also sweat more than a normal person. So I will be...
Is it? So like, what I mean by that, like sometimes people be too close to me, I'm like, nah, I need to move.
Yeah,
but
it's
is it
that
like times 10?
Multiply. You see that feeling of like, don't come anywhere near
like,
me?
It's too much.
Like, it's that times 10.
Is it?
And you think everyone's looking at you when they're not really.
Yeah, so like, I would like step off the train, you know, when the doors open and just like, and then, but you can't do.
I would chunk it and like, I've gone through all sorts of strategies. Like stop at a time. Do you know how long a journey takes? You get off a train, yeah. And like have a little breath and then get back on the train. Another packed train, get on another one.
It's wild, you know. I know people ain't gonna like hearing this. When I think of anxiety, I don't think of like you. You know, like that. I don't look at you and think, if you got like he suffers with anxiety. Wild, you know.
No one ever believes it. The struggle, crazy. We'll get into it some more. Last question. When was the last time you laughed so hard that you cried?
Okay. All right, cool. I got a bit of dark humor. Do I have to tell you what it's about? Nah.
You can go as far as you're willing to go. But if it's going to get my podcast locked off before it even begins.
Yeah. All right, cool. I got a bit of dark humor here. So like, me, like I laugh at things that like, you shouldn't probably laugh at. Like when like people are like hurt in stupid ways, you know, like that kind of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, my I think it was my missus, she sent me something, And the way I'm just gonna summarize is someone who you probably shouldn't laugh at done something that you probably shouldn't laugh at. Yeah. And well, I was in fucking tears, you know, I was all over the place. My missus sent me and I watched it in front of the kids, to the point I put my phone to my chest, you know, like one of them was like, whoa, like, and I was in tears, bro. Because I know if they see me laughing, they're gonna be like,
were you laughing?
Yeah. So but I won't go into too much detail. But I am definitely if something catches me, I'm in tears, bro, you know. What about yourself?
So I've got like quite a childish sense of humor. I'll be honest.
Like me,
I like the silly things.
Yeah.
And me and my boy, I'm gonna keep him unnamed. Yeah. We've been out all day, we've had a great day, and we've gone to meet his missus and her friend. And like, you know when you can communicate with your boys with your eyes?
Yeah.
She was wearing a leather jacket. Just something so silly as like, but it kind of looked like and Michael Jackson in Thriller.
Like the Thriller.
Yeah, the Thriller. So we've looked at each other,
God, I love that banner.
and we're slipping out like little Michael Jackson quotes. They're like, "How was your day?" And we're like, "Sometimes you just wish, like, don't you just wish people would beat it?" And we just start laughing, like we're on the floor.
And she's
and them two are like no one, like they're just thinking you're idiots. I think it got so bad that they got up and left, and we're just there. And you know that it's because they're not laughing.
Yeah, and once you start the giggles, it's unstopped.
They're not laughing, and we're looking at each other. We're like, "Okay, stop now."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Smooth criminal," and then just. Yeah, that is exactly.
You know why that made me laugh? Because they're not laughing as well.
No, they're not laughing. They're fuming.
Genius.
And that's what's making it worse.
Genius, yeah.
So yeah, that's my one. Tears in the
I'm
eyes.
on that. I love it. I love that like dry kind of banner. I love it,
Just find it. But we've settled in. Going into the show now.
Good start.
Feel good. Question 1 is about going back to a specific moment, like a 24-hour period, and getting to relive it exactly as it was. Where'd you go?
All right. Obviously, you sent me the questions. This like got me emotional, right? Because I didn't want to go back to begin with, right? Because I feel as though my whole life I ran to this point. Like it would be easy for me to say, a magical moment with my children, right? But like I think, right, it would be, I remember making me emotional now, yeah. It was a point. Never forget the day. We gone park, me, my oldest brother. I'm not sure my youngest brother was alive, but he wasn't at the park. And I remember my dad was shit at football. He's Irish, right? He's like into hurling and stuff. And I remember I was in this park and we set up a goal and my dad would like, the moment he was Superman, you get what I'm saying? Like he was like, I remember he kicked the ball one time and I was like, what the fuck? Like, and it was like my last memory of my dad, like being that Superman. Obviously we went down the road of him drinking and stuff like that. And if there's anything or anybody I miss in my life, it's that version of my dad, like, so yeah, if I could go back to 24 hours, I think I'd go there, because I miss my dad like that, so I think so.
Yeah, no, that's powerful.
Yeah. It was hard though, Phrase. It was hard. You know why? And I just want to drive this because I'm going back there, yeah, to try and convince him something. Like when I thought about it, I thought about your question, I thought in my head, like, I think I'm going to go back there and like try and say, listen, just don't drink no more with dad. And like that, yeah, but yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, it got me emotional, that question. What about yourself?
It's the same. I feel like, and this is what I kind of remember, it kind of echoes, I feel I was robbed of my 20s because I was so anxious and all I wanted to do was beat it and hide from it. Like I was never in the present. And similar, my mum's side is a very interesting dynamic from my mum's side, but we had my grandparents and my nan, just like, I've never experienced a love like that. But every single time, I just remember, like I look back on it, like almost angry at myself. Every single time we lived in Wales, there was no internet. I hated going there, like as a young child. But yeah, I just remember like a holiday, we went to a caravan. We didn't have much money. We went to a caravan. It was so simple, but like the sweetest time ever. Like I would do anything to just spend any 24 hours with my nan again. Like when she passed, I didn't even grieve. Like I wish, like I still haven't gone to see the stone thing. But yeah, just to be around that love there for 24 hours, I would do anything. I would just, and be fully present in it, not going, I want to go back to London with all my mates, not like, my PlayStation's at home, and just sitting there and hold her hand. I used to play with like the wrinkle, like you hold like an old person's hand and the skin doesn't go, and just be in that moment and feel that that unconditional love.
Yeah.
To a similar vibe.
When you have the memories. It's like you feel the memories. You feel it, like the warmth and stuff. You know, well, even when you're saying it, when you speak about caravan and stuff like that, like it reminds me when I thought about the park, I was in the park. You know, like I was in it, and I remember the ball going up. But it's crazy, innit? It's crazy, man. I got super emotional. I can see yourself there. I got super emotional thinking about it, man.
I thought I was gonna cry, to be honest. I'm quite. Not that I wouldn't cry, but I'm quite impressed. I thought I was going to cry because I've not really answered the questions back myself.
Is it? So, have you thought about answering the questions?
Yeah, in my mind, I thought I'd cry.
Okay,
Normally, like, if I sit and talk about my nan, like, there's this film that she watched. I think it's called, like, A Wonderful Life. I don't know if you've seen it. It's in black and white. And it's about, you'd love the film. Yeah, it's about, like, the meaning of life and being grateful. Yeah. And literally, it comes on, I just start crying. Because all I do is remember sitting down, watching it with her. So, yeah, I thought I would. But no, I'm grateful that I got to relive it. It's nice. Feels nice. I can feel it, like the carpet on the floor.
Yeah. That's how. You know. I love them memories. You know, I love them memories. You know, like when I for many years, probably like your 20s, I just did things. Right, I never really went back and visited. And this might sound deep. I know you've like experienced therapy. I went to therapy, and the questions asked sometimes made me angry, bro. You know why? Yeah, because I had to feel again. You know, like I phoned my brother after therapy one time. He asked me a question, and it reminded me that I was jealous of my older brother. You know, like it reminded, and I was like,
feel it again,
like, fuck, like I was jealous of him. You know, and but obviously on the spin of it, you get the loving memories, innit?
Yeah. Really nice. I really like that question.
Yeah, powerful.
I can see you kicking the ball around in the park. It's nice.
Yeah, I don't even remember. I just remember everything my dad done. I remember the superhero. Everybody's had that moment, you know. You didn't grow up with your dad, did you? So, but everyone's had the superhero figure. You got nan or whatever, right? And I remember, bro, just like I remember he ran. I was like, whoa, like is he the fastest?
Yeah, that's
is the strongest. And then what makes it more powerful is like the deterioration of the man, you know. So now that's my Superman moment.
Yeah, hold on to that. That's nice. Question two is about you can go back to one moment in time and tell a younger you one thing. Where do you go and what do you say?
Oh, this question had me, I don't know about yourself, had me bouncing around all different versions of me.
Yeah.
But there's a particular time, and out of respect for my partner, man, I disrespected like, quite a few people close to me, but specifically her, right? And I've made a lot of mistakes, Phrase, right? And when I was thinking back, most of the mistakes I don't really care for, in the sense of like, I feel like I'm here better off because of them.
Yeah.
But the mistake involving the other people, I regret it. Like, I actually regret it. You know, I actually think back and think, why? Why did you do that? And I'll tell that version of me to say like just no. You know, just no. That's don't go there. And I people are probably putting one and one together, so it's not as simple or complex as you think, right? But yeah, I hurt a lot of people at a particular part of my life in one incident, and I'd tell that version of me to say like, just no, just stay at home today. You know, like don't do this today. What about yourself?
You're leaving that very
yeah.
You're leaving. People are going to be thinking,
wow, yeah, it's true. And plus, my partner's on social media, so they might come across a tad disrespectful. But put it this way, man, I overstepped a boundary with not just my partner, people very close to me. I got physical, you know, I got violent, and then, you know, I doubled down on it, you know, and yeah, that in it cost me a lot. Yeah, so that's yeah, and that's how I would like to tell the story, but I haven't okayed that with everyone on the other side.
Of course. So. Maybe when the time's right.
Yeah, maybe next episode.
Yeah. Next season.
What about yourself?
As you said, I pinballed so heavily, but I think I go back to like secondary school was a massive jump. I look at it like I was never perfect, like no one is. But as I said, like my story, I loved learning in school. I loved being a kid in primary school, and then I went to secondary school, and it was a massive culture shock. And I was seeing things like, you know what it's like in the area. You're seeing knives, guns, sex, drugs, and I created this like persona that was so angry and like destroyed loads of things. But I think I just go back to that boy because I know for a fact like he was so scared, like so scared, and just go to him and just like comfort him and just say, be you, like, and you will be all right. Just be you. Because like from 11 to maybe 24, 25, that was a starting point. Like there was this like massive mask on that, like I thought, you know, like the whole ego thought it was protecting me and never wanted to admit that I was scared or any of those emotions that, you know, like as men we don't want to admit are there. So I would just comfort him and just be like, be you. Like now I realise like I'm lit. My personality is lit. Like
Amen.
I'm a good person.
Yeah.
But like I done some bad things because like I was being someone that I wasn't.
So you're saying like you created a persona as a defense mechanism?
Yeah, for sure. I had to survive. I had to survive. I had to survive in my mind.
Would the lit version of you survived?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Maybe in a different way, maybe with different friends at that time. But you know what I've realized, like when you do these things, like when you really try and elevate, like people come with you.
Yeah.
And the people that don't come with you and the people that don't interact in those conversations are not the people that I would have spoke to anyway.
They gotta stay over there.
Yeah, you stay there and I'll go. But it's hard when you're 11, 12, like to be that. I just saw so many people like conforming and changing and normalizing. I think it's difficult.
You know, I thought of a similar period, you know, but I'm going to put my hand on my heart and say, I think there was a time I actually generally liked being bad. Yeah, not bad as in like hurting people, but like rebellious. I think I created a persona as well, you know, like from other people hurting me, right? But I think part of that persona allowed me to be bad. And I think I generally liked an aspect of that, you know, like being able to like, I didn't have to be the good boy, you know. And I look back here, like people tend to say I'm like the black sheep of my three brothers, of the two brothers, of three brothers, and I liked it. I liked it. Yeah, did it get me in trouble? Of course, but it was adventurous. I didn't have to be I was already expected to do something, you know. But I 100% agree. I think a lot of boys from ends can relate to that. Like, be angry so no one doesn't really try you, you know? So.
Well, you know what we spoke about, yeah? It's a prime example of kind of what I'm going through now, and obviously I'm going to be speaking on it a lot more. But take my relationship with women, which will come out.
Yeah.
You could be the vulnerable, the sweet me, or I could be, I don't know what you want to call it, but no one hurts that version of you. Let's call it the future version. The future. Let's listen to loads of future. No one hurts that version. And that's not, like you're walking out, you're safe.
Yeah.
You're hurting other people, but you're safe. Yeah. And there's an element of, this is all right, innit? Like, I'm good. I'm always good. Like, I'll sleep tonight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get that. There's always an element of that. It will serve you.
It's crazy because it's actually hard to come back from that place as well, innit? I think that's to like come back from being in that because also you create expectations of yourself in that space, you know, angry phrase or like you said, the guy that gets the girls, you know, like it's hard because now to just cut that off, it's like, oh, what's happening there, you know? Yeah. And even being lonely with your thoughts, you know, it's...
That's something that's new.
That's
something that's new. Making peace with that voice in your mind.
What?
And not running away from it.
Yeah, we're gonna obviously. I think we'll touch on that a little bit more, but I think if peace, man, if that peace of mind is way more value than any amount of women you can sleep with or any amount of money you can earn, right?
100%. And like I've realized that it's not for me. Like when you're like having to like put your phone down and like you're nervous, like that. Someone that's anxious, like I don't survive in that environment. Like I want peace. I want peace in my own mind. I want peace in all my relationships. Like I don't want to not even lie, because this is what I feel like, well, for me anyway, it wasn't lying. It was like avoiding. Like if I don't give you all the information because you haven't asked the right questions, like I was at peace with it when realized like now I kind of, no, it's probably not the best. That's not a real man. Like you're being transparent. You're not being authentic. Like you're keeping bits of information back so it sounds better than it was, or.
Yeah, it's a coward though, isn't it? Like you can dress it up how you want, but like you said, like there's an element of fear or cowardness to not like respond and say, no, this is what it is.
Yeah. Because you know it's wrong though. That's why. That's why you can't say this is what it is, because you know that what it is ultimately wrong. Like that story of whatever happened on that night out, we're getting off on a tangent, but it's wrong.
Yeah.
What you and your boy did or whatever is wrong. So that's why you can't come with chest.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to hide. And it's
create another persona around it. Yeah, makes total sense. Yeah.
Right. Question 3 is about power and strength. Remember, we spoke about these words in our like first few sessions together. So what do they mean to you, and can you think of an example of when you've shown them?
Phrase. You know, this question was my favorite question, by the way, right? Because I don't think people pay enough mind to words and their meanings. Like a lot of the time, arguments are just formed around not meaning the same thing about one word. We just use the word coward or brave, right? And a lot of people get caught up in complications because of those words, but it's actually just the meaning. So when I think of the words power and strength, right, they probably mean a lot of, like, different to a lot of people, but strength for me is you designing yourself, right, or what you have to sustain and thrive to the means that you want, right? And I know that sounds like a very long-winded answer, because the reason why I say that is I don't think I need to be as strong as you at the things that you want to be at, right? And I think that's a lot of the times. So a gym analogy would be, phrase, if you deadlift, right, and I bench, right, and I see your version of strong and I go off and chase that, and I get really good at deadlift, but in my life I need to bench. Yeah. So for me, that's what strength is. It's a personal feeling or personal aspiration towards thriving, you know. Power's a complex one. Yeah. Power threw me off a little bit. Yeah. Because power is more, I felt, was like more of an external thing and what people think of you. Yeah. So I feel powerful, right? How much power I have, that was kind of how I saw it. It's a bit of a weird question. But what power means to me is the ability to control or do. But yeah, it was a complex question phrase, you know.
We spoke about it at length, so that's actually why I put it in there, because it was something else. And then where we were speaking about it for anyone that's watching. We spoke about that for weeks because of the anxiety, and like it was crippling me, and like what I had built it up to be in my mind. We spoke about it for weeks, and then mine has shifted so much. So I was like, I have to put this question in there. I have to ask everyone this question that me and you were speaking about for weeks.
But it's an important question, because I think obviously you're going to answer in a second. That analogy of the gym is so important to recognize what you deem as strong and I deem as strong can be
two different things. Yeah.
What do you deem as strong, and what?
In terms of like in terms of power now, like I'm so excited to talk about this. It's like kind of aligns with self-belief. Like this is me. This is what I'm good at. This is my role and how comfortable I am in that role. And this is how I'm going to show it off. Not as arrogance, but as powerful. Like I'm going to walk into a room and I'm going to tell my story, or I'm going to try and help you in this way because I believe, like I genuinely believe that this is my purpose. like I'm powerful.
Yeah.
I'm not walking around with my shoulders slumped down anymore, doing bits and bobs that I don't really want to do. Like I'm gonna walk into the assembly, I'm gonna walk into the talk at football, I'm gonna do my team talk at halftime or whatever it is. And this is Fraser. 31 years.
Yeah, like
and I've not known who this person is, but now this is who it is. And this is me. And if you don't clap when I finish speaking, cool.
Yeah.
When before I needed you to clap to feel powerful, but now it's, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And strength, I think it ties back to like aligning and being consistent, like consistently, like being able to say what's hard, like having emotions and being true with them, like, and not just when it's sunshine outside. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're in a difficult situation with whoever it is, a girl, your friend, but saying, oh yeah, you know what, like this is how I feel in this moment. You can accept it or you can't, but I'm not going to pretend, because of this notion of strength, I'm not going to pretend that it's not there. And I can speak cleanly about it because there's no hidden lies that are behind me. Like what you see is what you get. And that's what makes me feel strong now in any interactions I'm having with someone.
You know, when you, is that what makes you strong? The ability to do that?
The ability to have an interaction based on I'm so confident in what I'm saying. Yeah. There's no inner self-doubt. There's no, oh no, really, this is what was happening. It's I'm bringing to you my truth and I wholeheartedly believe in it. There's no moral gray area here. This is what I'm telling you. And yeah, like you accept it or you don't, but I accept it for once. Whereas I'm normally bringing people, like when I'm having hard conversations with people in my personal life in the past, there's always some area, I felt like there was always some area of like contention. Like it maybe didn't happen exactly as that is. Maybe there's some bit of insecurity within me that's not going to bring it to you 100%.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like I'm going to bring something to you 100%.
Yeah.
And
I like that. I like it. You know, it sounds like you don't give a fuck. That's what it sounds like. You know, it sounds like you know the personas. It's like you're stripping them down. You know, and you're just saying like, there's just me here. You know.
As I said, for so long, and I feel like loads of people do it, for so long, like I've walked around, and we all can be guilty of doing it, like saying the phrases, watching the TV shows, listening to the music, wearing the clothes that everybody else wears. And literally the reason why I'm doing it is to fit in. And I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be small. I'd be love sitting on the train or being in the dressing room and no one see me. Yeah. And now it's like, no way. If I've got like 30 years left on this planet,
absolutely not.
Like, no, I can't do that no more. Like the playing small has hurt me. Has hurt me massively.
Yeah, fear like drives me more than like motivational goals. You know, like fear of like, I'm 40 next year, you know, Fraser. I'm like, I'm tapping out in 35 years, you know, like if I'm lucky, right? I got to get like this ball rolling. Super interesting, you know, like hearing you talk about strength and like you're seeing your journey, like it just ties hand in hand, you know. And it sounds, I don't know if it feels like it sounds like you're learning not to give a fuck. Because a lot of what you're saying is, it just sounds like it's more, you cared about what people thought.
Massively. Yeah. Look at the anxiety.
Yeah.
Look at that. I'll just use that as the very obvious, like the very obvious thing. And it sounds so simple, but you told me this. Before it was, you're going to sit in a place and start sweating and you're going to pretend to be sick and you're going to get up and leave the room because basically you don't want people to see you having like a little nervous breakdown. Whereas now, I will say, it's very hot in here. Can you open the window? Or I'm carrying a flannel with me and I'm just, whatever, like that's just a small example, but it's now like, I'm not going to hide anymore. Like, all right, cool, like, what are you going to do? You're going to laugh at me? What's the worst thing that you're going to do? Normally people are so warped up in their own life that they don't even notice. But what is the worst thing that you're going to do? If you're going to ridicule me for wearing the clothes that I like, for quitting my job and wanting to do this, then ultimately now I need to accept that I'm a good person and I don't want you around me if that's the energy that I'm going to get from you. Yeah. So And it's taken a long time, but that's where I am at.
Yeah, like it's crazy. It's like both your things connect to just like self-belief, power and strength. Saying to my missus, man, like in school, it's so crazy that we don't teach like self-belief mechanisms, you know? Like they'll have you in school fucking reading like, I don't know, like some random historic book, you know, like of Mice and Men, which I'm sure is great literature, yeah, but like they don't teach people like, I don't know, self-talk, positive self-talk, you know, like, or morning routines, like, you know, like, why?
Yeah, no life skills, and like this, and obviously this is a whole conversation for another day. Obviously, you know, I'm leaving teaching after 9 years, but it's like, what does our community especially need? Stress, absolute stress of things that you're a super successful man from the community that you wouldn't know how to do if you walked into bottom set of these subjects.
Cool.
And I don't know. They ask me, sir, how do I do this? And I'm looking at it like, I don't know. And I'm not saying there's not a place for that stuff, but equally we need to teach, as you said, things that like really are going to make a massive difference in these kids' lives, and that unfortunately loads of them are not getting at home.
That's crazy. Look, well, listen, us adults could still deal with it, you know? That is, power and strength, self-belief.
Self-belief, as I said, I think right now in the chapter I'm in my life is probably the most important thing ever. As I said to you, I feel like if this Fraser walked the planet at 11 years old, if football was what I wanted, which I'm not 100% sure it was, but I would have been a pro.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely. When I look back, football is easy, you know, like, and people might throw shade on me thinking, well, I'm trying, like, when I look back, obviously being a pro, it makes me say that, right? But it's crazy to think that I didn't even really use what I have now. I would have been, what? It would have been
crazy.
I would have ate it alive, you know? And people, that's not from an ability perspective. That is from a self-belief perspective. I would have been chewing people alive, you know? And I never got it because now I look back, there's a couple guys you think, oh, you knew, you believed in yourself. Yeah, they come across selfish, they come across arrogant, but they're just trying to not die. Like, they're just trying to eat up their 10 years of career. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, self-belief is crazy. And when someone does that, it helps with boundaries, it helps with loads of things.
Yeah.
Question 4. Probably we want to know about your darkest time, your biggest challenge that you've faced so far and how you overcome it. What did it look like and how did you overcome it? Yeah,
so when I retired from football, there was like it felt like forever, right? There was like a period where like the incident I spoke about earlier, financially, my dad dying, a situation with me and Vix, my son being born, although it wasn't a dark experience, it created...
At that time, yeah.
You know, it created... Phrase, I was spinning, man. I was spinning like... And it's funny, man, I had all the self-development books around me. It was like they were making it worse. My drinking... I put up a lot of posts about alcohol. I've never been an alcoholic per se, but drinking was a very, like... regular mechanism for coping with them dark, and it just made things darker. Yeah, it was just. So we talk about self-belief. It was the complete opposite that period. It was the complete opposite. Did I hate myself? I hated what I created in terms of life. You know, I felt like a failure. You know, you was talking there, Phrase, right? And there was a bit, I don't know if, I felt like you was on the lines of this, right? But you didn't say it like, I didn't really believe the things that was coming out my mouth. Have you ever, is that what you were trying to say earlier? Like, I would like say things to people and like, I would make commitments and I'd go on journeys and I'd be like, and I never really felt like anything I was saying was entirely true. Like, and it was just dark, you know, Phrase, like money, financially, every month, every week was hard. Me and Vix was at each other's neck, normally because of my fault. I didn't really have friends, and the friends I was having with drinking buddies, yeah, it was a low point for me. It
sounds like you had a lot going on.
Yeah.
What was the turning point? How did you get out of
that? First and foremost, I got to give credit to the people around me. I'm pretty sure you're going to say something similar. People around me, I feel like they saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. I remember like just having positive reinforcement, you know, is a massive thing. But also, Fraser, I kind of started seeing the benefits of not giving up. You know, even though I was in these dark places, right, I was still turning up to work, and I was still like doing the very least to move forward, but I was doing the very least, and things were happening. And I'll never forget like, it makes me feel emotional again, you know. I'll never forget like, there was like periods where like me and Vix, like we had the gym at the time, like we couldn't afford, we had like staff that worked for us, and like we couldn't afford to pay them at one period, and like we'd have to pay like what we like in terms of like household stuff financially. And I just remember like, this can't be fucking life, you know, this can't be life. And I remember me and Vix talking about it. And I'll never forget, like we made a decision to expand and just to put a little bit more in, and to change the idea of what we're going to create, where we just had an idea of getting by. We shifted to like, this can't be live. And that was the starting point for us, you know. But this is going to sound extremely hypocritical. I don't want to eat up too much of your time, yeah. But
no, do you?
I think the actual start of the best times was the actual dark times. Yeah, you know, I think that was the turning point. Me and Vicky actually seeing life for what it was, rather than just being caught up in the maze. But I think the actual start was the dark. Like, you know, I don't want to sound like Bane, you know, but do you understand what I'm saying, Fraser?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's so hard to adopt that mindset, in it, that like, the darkest time is going to shape you, but it literally, it does if you keep chipping.
Yeah. I just, like, you know, I'm sure everyone will be able to relate to this. Like, just nothing was smooth. You know, like, just nothing was smooth. In fact, that I'm like, actually, it makes me a bit anti-fitness at the moment. So although most people watching this will know me for being in the health industry, because I used fitness as my new alcohol. Like, I wouldn't solve problems, Raise. I'd just go and like run, do a session or something, you know. So I often say to men now, like, listen, I'll help you with your health here, or your fitness, but are we avoiding another elephant in the room? You know, like, is there something else? But that's it, man. I think the two things I would say that were clearly evident was the dark times did mold me, but also actually just taking the time to sit still, we actually observed it, and like, hate is a strong word, but we realized this is absolutely not life. You know? What about yourself?
So I've been asked this question out. I think Jack asked me this question back, and I'm gonna change my answer. I'm gonna say it happened over a time frame where I was working. I'd given my life to work. That's just, I don't know, it was a massive thing to avoid. Giving my life to work. My best friend at work died, and it just made me start questioning a lot of things. Then quite not too long after, two family, you know, them type of families where you're calling them your uncles, you're calling them your cousins, died. I deal with loss terribly, and a lot of my coping mechanisms probably turned to alcohol, probably turned to women, like, weren't working. And then it became a very scary time, because like, I now have this relationship with work where it's like, I don't know if I can give 11 hours a day to this anymore. I've just watched my friend die. Do I want that for myself? No. All these other things are not working. My relationship broke down. And yeah, like, I was so scared. I think like my hair started falling out, as you know. And it was like, where do I go from here? And where do I go from here? All these things that make me feel nice are not nice. And then everyone's like, like a mature, a healthy man sits in it. And I remember, like, I'm now in this flat on my own, paying a lot of money. And I'm lying in the bath, and I can't remember. I read something in this book, yeah, And I just remember starting crying, like on my own, just crying. And like, it's literally, I remember just the thought of like, no, I can't do this no more. Like, I can't stay in this place no more. I can't work this job. I can't be this version of me no more. You're either gonna basically probably die, because that's just where the trajectory felt like, or you're gonna do something about it. Who are you, Fraser? And I'm like, of course I'm gonna do something about it. So literally, like, I think I reached out to you very soon after that, and like said to my therapist, like, this is a commitment now. Like, there's no 6-month contract here. We're bi-weekly for as long as I want. Like, there's no time frame on this. Like, I'm going. I'm not scratching the surface. I'm going. And yeah, like, it was a dark time, but I have to say I'm a completely different human being now. Do you know what I mean? And like, the main message is like the hair loss, the relationships, the death of things that all people experience, and then it hit people in different ways. But yeah, the support was massive.
Phrase, what book was it?
Do you want to?
Oh, you got to send me that if you can't remember it.
It was a mad book. It was a few books. It was about like masculine. There was like 3 books back to back. I was in the bath. I'll be honest. I was in the bath every night.
Is it?
Every night, just in the bath. That reading, trying to read, because I thought that was the answer. And like, if I read this book and I read this book and I read this book, and they were all just triggering things about me. There's one about masculinity. One that is like schema therapy. My therapist recommended it, and it was about like the relationship you share with your parents and how it shows up. And then there was one about vulnerability, and like I just had like, you're sitting in pile full of regrets, and just it was a lot. I'll definitely send you the books. They're good books, very good books.
It's like, although it wasn't the same scenario, it's similar what we went through. It always makes you think like, how many people, Phrase, isn't it, are just doing it, like just doing it, and just on the edge. People, you know, when I talk, people think like I was suicidal. I've never thought about taking my own life, right? But I've questioned my existence. Like, there's a difference, you know. Like, I've never thought about killing myself. I'm like, what the fuck is this, like, Phrase? You know, like.
Mine was, I'm very, you know me, I'm a logical. Like, I'm very systematic. So mine wasn't, I'm going to commit suicide, but mine was like, if you sit in this bath, in this place for another 6 months or whatever the time frame is, where do you think it ends? Do you get what I'm saying?
Where does it go?
Where does this go?
Yeah.
So you need to do something about it, because I'm assuming that's where that path leads.
Because if it's like this now, 6 months from now,
where's it going? So let me do something about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely not just us.
Yeah, definitely. I do talks all the time. I did a talk at Croydon College, bro. I'll never forget this. I'm talking, so got a screen behind me, presentation, talking absolutely nothing about mental health. Absolutely nothing about mental health. Talking my usual shit. I got my book coming out, trying to give them these 5 steps to, majority of the audience are people way older than me. Young man just puts his hand up, sitting behind a woman, stood up, Phrase, just like, what do you call them? Not goths, like grunges and stuff like that. He's gone, have you ever thought about killing yourself? Phrase, I was like, what's going on? I'm like, so I was honest. I was like, no, I haven't, but I've felt like lonely. I felt like lost. I felt like I don't want to be here. He's like, yeah. I was like, have you? He's like, nah. But you know his answer.
Yeah, the energy was that.
He's off, but in my head, like, I just felt though, listen, I don't know if he wanted to do, but I just felt that the air, so obviously I addressed it afterwards, but the whole question, what we're just talking about here, it makes me think all the time, like, how many people are just like just in and around it, just that dark place. And I'm very grateful, because although a lot of people who helped me through that period are potentially not with me or not around me now, human contact helped me through that period.
Facts.
Human contact, just to be able to like crack a joke, laugh, like, because like you said, man, 6 months of the dark, I'm not sure, where it goes from there.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And like, I was sitting down there with my friend not too long ago. In fact, I said, you know what? I can't, like, now I'm telling the story. It's not one friend. I sat down with a couple people that are close to me and was like, I was depressed. Like, saying those buzzwords, and like, they're talking about a time frame 3 or 4 years ago, and they never told me. And it's just like those times become so much easier, as you said, like when you start talking, like that human connection, like when you start going, you know what, Damo, like I know you don't know me, but this is how I feel right now.
In my head is mad.
Like, this is how I feel right now. Like,
do
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Even talking like last year, it's quite a difficult year for me. Not difficult, but it was a weird year for me. I felt lost. You know why? I felt as though I'd got somewhere that could be considered success, but I didn't even really want to be here anymore, right? So, but knowing that I'd been through that before, I knew what to do. Like, I not knew what to do. I just reached out to someone and said, like, yo, bro, So it's important, like you're saying, to have them kind of conversations or go through it because you know.
Yeah. Because this is what, like, life is like. That is life. That's life. That's life. And, bro, but like at 21, I thought like if you get here, there's like the plateau and it's just like flat or it keeps going.
You normally just go up.
Yeah, it just keeps going. And they're like, no. Even like I'm burning the boats. I quit the job. Like sometimes I put my head on the pillow and that same devil will come up and they'll be like, you can't quit your job.
Are you crazy?
Are you crazy? You make this much money and you're gonna nothing? Are you crazy? Yeah. And it's like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna talk to you. Like, we got this. And if we ain't got this, there's all these logical things that you can do.
And
but
you better
got
trust
this.
me. You better trust me. You know, where did you get me?
Yeah. Shut up now. Like, we're going to bed.
Yeah.
But like, had to go through the hardships to learn how to deal with that.
Yeah. That is peace of mind, by the way. Peace of mind isn't continuously being in this like holistic, perfect place. It's being able to say to them demons like, oh, shut up, man. Allow me.
The demons are always. This is why the demons are always there. The demons are always there, and it's just how do you like support, nurture, talk to them? That's the biggest like learning point for me. Is like they don't go away. They're not silent.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like an alcoholic doesn't walk past a pub and look at it and smile. Like there's normally probably like some sort of emotive response. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, he just gets better at fighting it.
Yeah. Question 5 is about like the biggest sort of pivot moment or something that's happened that's completely changed the way you think, feel, or act.
I'd say I'm gonna give him the same way you give me credit. I'm gonna give credit to this my coach, man. He's gonna watch this. His name's Wayne Dana. I've mentioned him to him before. He doesn't coach me no more. He's coaching me just before the pandemic and just after it, right? And this guy, he would never call himself a coach or a mentor. He calls himself a lifestyle, just say mentor. He puts a word, but he's lifestyle mentor, but he doesn't call himself a mentor. Anyway, this guy was absolutely adamant, that I was doing too much, working too hard. Absolutely adamant that I should charge more money. I had a scarcity mindset. Loads of things. I read books, so I kind of knew what he was saying, but I was like, like, come on, bro. Like, I'm working hard out here. I'm getting some money, like, what are you going to tell me? And this guy just showed me the game phrase. He just showed me, like, obviously we have similar conversations. He was like, he showed me how to break free from the chains, He showed me the importance of time. Probably the most profound thing that I ever stumbled across was the importance of time. And I don't just mean it from the sense of time is money, but just like when you make money, the first thing you buy is your time. Give yourself time. Because if you really have self-belief, right, more time will make you richer. If you really believe in yourself, if you really believe in yourself, buy back your time. And the more time you have, you will make yourself more money. And this guy, I swear to you, I used to think, you're chatting shit. And phrase, the more he spoke to me and the more I had the privilege of him showing me, it was like the filter. So in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, they talk about the mind, everybody sees the same thing. We all see this table, right? But the reason why we see it different is because the experiences we've gone through in life creates a filter. So now I see the table, you see a glass half empty, I see a glass half full because of the experiences. You have a scarcity mindset, I have an abundance mindset. It's like he lifted my filter up and he made me powerful, strong. He's like, oh. So I remember, bro, like I went from charging like 25, £35, £45 an hour to £1,000 a pound online. And it's not the money, it was that really kind of like programming of my hard drive. That's probably the biggest like profound moment of like, oh, life can change, you know. Shout out to Wayne Danai.
Yeah, he sounds like he created the monster.
Fraser, you got to meet him out. So I promised Fraser, you lot, we're on a journey together. I promised Fraser a little gift, and I'm going to introduce him to a coach. But this guy is like, it's funny, he's younger than me. So it was like a little bit to begin with, but he's a fucking really smart dude, man. What about yourself?
I was going to go a few ways. Obviously, we spoke like a lot about the work that we've done.
Yeah.
Everything that I'm putting out there right now. However, I'm going to go with something a bit different. I would say that being diagnosed with anxiety. For years, I hated it, resisted it, fought it, hid it. And like, someone said something about like flipping the narrative, look at it in a different way. And there was a video that's like, anxiety actually gave me a lot. Yeah, it gives me panic attacks. I sweat more than most people. I can't be in certain rooms at certain times or whatever it is. But it also made me like a deeper thinker. It made me like a heavy empath. I was always like empathetic. And now I'm using that. Like I use those skills in what I'm doing, like how I'm working with people, when I interact with kids at work. Like that's what I'm tapping into. Like these emotions, the more emotional side of me that I pretended wasn't there for years and years and years. And anxiety brought that to the forefront. All these things that I didn't want to pretend was there. Like when someone's upset, I pick it up. A lot of the time, like I'll pick it up. If someone's going through something or someone's gone quiet, like even the other day, someone was on the, what were they doing? It was on the train and they were doing something and someone was like, oh, he's moving mad. I was like, you don't know what that person could be going through, like could just be anxious, could have like Tourette's, you don't know, innit? Like could have had a rubbish day, like you literally don't know. Like, cause I'm thinking about me on the train, innit? Yeah. Like, and I wouldn't want someone tapping their boy and pointing at me. So for something that I hated for so long and I wished upon, like, why me? I'm like, no, you know what? Thank you. Because this is what it's given me. Now I'm going to take this weakness and I'm going to take away all this power. I'm going to share it with the world. I'm going to talk about it to anyone that wants to listen. And I want to help people that might have had a similar experience. So I would say that's my biggest pivot.
That makes me smile so much, you know. Crazy, you know. There's a motivational talk on YouTube and the guy talks about turning your weakness into your superpower. He says, when you step into your power, your weakness becomes your superpower. And you know, a good example is the guy used Mike Tyson, but because I don't know boxing and I don't know how true it rings with his stats here, but like Messi, someone like Messi, for example, short, I don't know, underweight, no, nothing to him. Yeah, he turned once he saw, So it sounds like you, like, oh, this weakness is actually my.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it. Let me talk about it. Let me take away all this power. And the people every single time someone messages me and they're like, that's true. And I feel like that, it's not a weakness, is it? If someone else is coming to me and saying that they feel unity with me or they feel that this has helped them, like how can that be a weakness?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, it's weird. You know, it's weird. It's another thing we could talk about it for ages, but it's just weird how like we all crave this normal, innit? Like. That's probably the weakest thing about us, that we crave, like I don't know, nobody that actually ticks the boxes of normality, right? Like it's actually weird that we all crave it. And then the closer you get to it, the unhappier you feel, right? Like that you craved, you earn good money as a teacher, I earned good money as a footballer. Like it didn't, I don't know, I still had the yearning desire. I still lacked purpose. Yourself? Like
that fulfillment, yeah.
What? Like,
you just chase these. And we spoke about it, like, and that's gonna be my sign off. But like, why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you doing it? Like, why did I want to be a senior leader in a school? Why did I want that? I I don't know because it sounded great.
It
sounded great on paper.
How many things have you done because they sound great? For years, compound
years. Like so many of my decisions were driven by like, oh yeah, it sounds.
I should do that. Probably, it sounds like wow. Like 10 years of similar pattern.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Wild, man.
Crazy. And we could talk for ages, but
yeah,
we're at the sign-off point, Damo. We're gonna leave the viewers with like a saying, one thing that could help their day possibly get 1% better. So what would your sign-off be?
Be brave, man. Be brave. If there's something, if I was on my deathbed and I had to say something to my kids, right, it'd be brave. There's nothing really you get from life, right, that's truly worthwhile without being brave. We've just had every single answer, every single question you've asked kind of led with a lack of purpose, inauthenticity, lack of fulfillment, kind of like absence, like all of those things kind of like ruminated around each question, right? And all of them stem from not having the balls or the bravery to just be you, right?
Yeah.
So when I think I said it to you, when I speak to men, I'm like, if you was being as brave as you could right now, what would you say to me? And that's normally the start. Just be fucking brave. That doesn't mean necessarily actually acting on it, but just be brave enough to think that I actually don't like my partner.
Wherever it is.
Yeah, like I actually don't like my job. I actually don't like my parents. I hate my religion. I don't believe, or I do believe. Like, just be brave enough and light that fire. And I think you might, I don't know if you always find happiness, but you find the purpose. So be brave, man. That's my one.
I like that.
You
said something I was going to say. So mine's at 2 parts. First of all, like, spend some time with you, on you. Because as I said, like, I feel like so many people are walking around like lost, just doing things because. So really, like, who are you? Like, if you had asked me that question 5 years ago, I would have started stuttering and not being able to give you like a clear answer. And then most importantly, unapologetically, be you in everything you do. If you're having to wear a mask at work, that job's not for you. Ooh. If you're having to filter what you say in your relationships with your boys, that circle's not for you. If you're having to hide parts of you in your relationship with the person that you spend the most time with, then that relationship's not for you. But no matter what, be you. That's it.
Ooh. That, I second that. Boy, that's powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah. For too long, I've been someone like a shield, hid, been small. So yeah, be you. Be you. But I'm gassed to spend the last episode with you.
Thank you, Phrase. You know, this guy's incredible, you know. This guy's incredible. We've only known each other like half a year, you know, really. Incredible, man. I'm scared that you're going to be coaching me soon.
No, you never know. You know what? You never know.
I look forward to it anyway.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it.
Yes, bro.